Just tell me when it's on and I'm gone.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is this is not Friday. This is Tuesday, the 13th of February 2018. The title of the program is Rubicon. Does anyone know what the significance of Rubicon in history is? Have you ever heard the statement that we crossed the Rubicon?
Right. Yes.
Okay, in history, there's a river in Italy called Rubicon. And Caesar is coming back after being gone. He didn't want all the wars all over the place. And he's coming back. He's going to do something that they've never did before, bring the army into the city, you know what I mean, like so-called conquering hero. Because remember, they got a Senate, and the Senate technically was supposed to be mainly running things. And so, when Caesar is coming back, he's not Caesar yet. He stops at the Rubicon and he sends people, his people into the city. And what they doing is just talking about, man, Caesar's so big, Caesar done won wars, Caesar. In other words, it was psychological warfare. They built the thing up so perfectly that when the messengers came back and they told Caesar to be, everything is ready. So at that time, he crossed the Rubicon. That means that you made a commitment, basically, that there's no turning back. If you are on a boat going to Europe and you have trouble at 1,000 miles, you can turn back. But if you have it at 1,500 miles, you might as well keep going because you're halfway there. So that means you've crossed the point of no return. So that's the way As-Sabiqun is right now. It's crossed the Rubicon because the situation in Oakland and here, actually, it's set around the country because everybody is aware of the situation. And so, this is about crossing the Rubicon. This is about making commitment, and the way and the Stalingrad to Oakland, all that's been prepared. Everything has been arranged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything has been set up. And so, where our community is, that's the point that it's at. It's been there, the point of no return. There's no turning back, there's no giving up. And actually, probably it's not even a chance of it, but we just have to say it so people understand that there comes a time in many people's lives, most people's lives, where they have to make a decision. Some people, they've been smoking and they have to say, I gotta quit smoking. Now for a lot of people, that's difficult. That is difficult, and they just can't do it, almost. Some can't do it. Some people, alcohol and ruin their lives and their family and everything else, and they know they got to stop drinking, and they have to make a decision. Okay, they make a decision, sometimes they make it, sometimes they falter back and forth. Usually it takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, or 10 times to stop drugs or alcohol. Very few people quit the first time and that's it. We may have relationships where our husband is crazy, our wife is crazy, and we have exhausted our remedies. We've exhausted our ability to cope with it or to find some good in the situation, and we say, I have to stop. And a lot of time it ain't easy because people, they break up, go back together, break up, go back together, and it's because there's an attachment. Well, and in the movement, we have found over the years that all of us can basically see the so-called movement as it is, and almost how it got there. I mean, the movement got this way because at a certain time, people were not committed enough to continue the struggle. The poet said all eight things. Niggas are scared of revolution, right? Which is basically true. It's not that black people were scared of revolution at all. Just we didn't have a chance. We never had a leader to teach us and train us. We never had a cadre. Anybody that and the movement just went so fast. Martin Luther King, them, and us. Well, it started even before that. Let's call it not only Montgomery bus boycott, but the Freedom Riders. Remember them buses getting blown up in '61? That was around '61, maybe into '62. Then by '63, the civil rights movement is here to stay. But remember, that only lasts a few years because '64 they have the rebellion in New York. '65 they have the Watts Rebellion. '66 the whole country goes. And '67, '68, Detroit. That movie they made on Detroit is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. When you know the facts.
That's the only movie I ever walked out on.
Yeah, it was just terrible. Well, I'd paid all the money and they brought the whole crew. I just mumbled all the way home. But I told them, I said, that is not what's going on. Anyway, so by the time this evolution is going so fast, just remember, say from '65 to '70, by 1970, everything is, the vocabulary is still there, but the last long hot summer was '68 or '69, not 1970. And stuff by that time, technically. And by '71, they had knocked all the Panthers, they was dead, and they was overseas. They had the trials going on in every court, you know. Then by the time they developed SWAT teams for us, that's where all the special weapons teams come from, just for Negroes. So it's not that we were afraid of revolution. We just never had a chance to develop, you know. Environmental circumstances was moving so fast. We just didn't have a chance, that's all. It's just an opinion. But we didn't have a chance to develop leadership. As soon as, y'all remember that movie Panther? And J. Edgar Hoover is supposed to be saying in that movie, they'll never have another Messiah unless we give them to them. And I said, I don't see where he said that in black and white, but that movie got that part right. Look at us as people. You could hit a little more heat just for a second. I don't want to burn nobody out, but this stuff be moving. Anyway, that's something that we've come up with. Now remember, something came up the other day and it had something to do with optimism. I want to give one of the statements here. It says, one who makes the best of it when he gets the worst of it. And then one who makes the most of all that comes and the least of all that goes. That's optimism. That's not bad. One who makes the best of it when he gets the worst of it. When the worst stuff comes, he makes small of it. Ain't no big deal. One who makes the most of it when all of it comes, and the least of it when all of it goes. Whatever you can saved up, and it goes away, they take it away, they blow it up. You make little of it, that ain't no big deal. That's a good statement about optimism. Yeah. But optimism is just a way of looking at things. And with certain types of management, problems are always opportunities. There's no such thing as the way they discuss a problem. It's a challenge, it's an opportunity to grow. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. So you remember when a system or a people send stuff against you and you survive, you're bigger and better each time. So that's the way you view life if you're going to be in struggle, and they call that optimism. And in reality, there is technically, if you're not killed, well, if you're killed and you're a Muslim and it's in a struggle, you really got you're home free, just about, except for a little money you owe. You're home free. Okay. And people look at what As-Sabiqun is trying to do. And people will comment, that's impossible. It's impossible, man. You're a nice brother, but it's impossible. What we try to explain to them is everything was impossible before they did it. Everything was impossible. It was impossible to fly. It's impossible to go faster than the speed of the sound. It's impossible to run faster than a 4-minute mile. All that stuff was impossible. It's definitely impossible to go out in the middle of the ocean because you will fall off the end, the other end, and you keep going out there. Because for them, the earth was flat, you know. Until they got way out on the ocean, they didn't realize that, wait a minute, this thing is curved. Because if it was flat, you could get 5 feet up and you could see 1 billion miles, because it's flat. But you got to get up high, and the higher you get, the farther you see, and eventually you can't see no farther because that boy curves down. So, everything was impossible. And all of our heroes, every hero we got, come from people who was unreasonable. We like Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad Ali, it was unreasonable for him to win the Olympics in 60 or something like that. And then 4 years, 5 years later, 4 years later, he's going to fight Sonny Liston. And people in modern times don't realize who Sonny Liston was. They just don't realize. And because of the way Muhammad Ali did him, the people that don't know just consider Sonny Liston is a bum. He got out there and after he threw in that towel.
Tell him he in the top 5 heavyweights of all time.
Shoot. Man, he was beating people. He used to train on, I don't know if you know about night train. That's night train. And that's what he used to train off of, jumping rope. But, and then for him to be, his championship to be taken, and then he come back in 71 and fight Joe Frazier and lose. You can tell his timing is off. He's doing a good job, but he ain't ready. But he comes back and wins it. Then he come back and lose it again. Who was that old awkward fighter?
Leon Spinks.
He fought too crazy. Leon Spinks. Can you imagine somebody get to be a heavyweight champion at those haymakers? Remember them haymakers? Had his head like this and I said, good God Almighty. But he came on back. What did he win to come back 3 times?
Yeah, he won the championship 3 times. Only champion ever did that.
Of course. Sure, ain't nobody did it 2 times. Somebody might have came back once. I don't remember who it was. But he came back 3 times. I know he fought Ernie Shavers in 78. He fought all them people. He wasn't hiding from nobody either. But that was impossible and it was unreasonable. It wasn't reasonable. Right? It's unreasonable. Everything that's done today was impossible at some time in history. It's impossible for Negroes to read and write. They can't do it. They can't fly airplanes. They can't go down the submarine. They get scared. They looked at all the Buffalo Soldiers fighting engines and everything else. And the 369th, they had something on public radio this morning about the 369th. You know, the brothers from Harlem, how they brought jazz to Europe. Because this is that's 1918, that was 100 years ago they took it over there. And they told their record how well they fought. So, almost everything is impossible until it's done. It's impossible to break the gravity, go beyond the gravity of the earth, because it'll pull you back down. You know, impossible, impossible, impossible. It's impossible to leaderless resistance. It's impossible to have a movement in America that has a visible leadership. Okay, well, they say it's impossible, but guess what? It's needed. Not only is needed, it's necessary. Many people have tried to figure out around it. Mostly don't nobody want to be that dummy to step out there as the target. But that's not only necessary, it's good, but it's needed. It's needed because after decades of thinking this out, see, you got to think this stuff through. You have to target the people you want to target, you know, for this. This thing eventually gets out of ideological, out of dreamland and gets to crossing the Rubicon. That's when you make up your mind, okay, now it's time to go. It's time to Star Trek them again. It's time to, all of that falls into place at a certain time. When that conclusion is reached, one of the main conclusions that you come to is it's necessary to have a visible leader and a visible cadre of people. It's possible to have a figurehead on the internet, the way they do stuff now. But it's better to have A persons and persons that people can touch. That they can look at them and they can research them and they can say, that talk is possible. So, with that conclusion, what does that mean? That means that that would be part of our mission. Remember, As-Sabiqun goes out and do the job before everybody else. Some people don't even know a job needs to be done. From the discussions that you go to other Masjid sometime, right? Do you hear of them talk in a strategic manner or, okay, I don't either, and I have friends that go to different places. And our research shows that there's nothing going on like that. It's just not going on. But the people are there. The students are in the universities. The Muslims are in and around the Masjid. The brothers are in the prisons. But the brothers have been affected so bad by the system that when a brother come out of prison now, he don't come out to join no movement and to do good. He might come out to tell people that this is a kafir, that's a kafir, and mama, I can't stay with them because they kafirs. And they got a dog and I can't pray. I said, just get you a room and stay in there for a week, a month or so. They eating all that hog. They had hog in the penitentiary. Just don't eat it. Get you one pot of your own. And you don't have to have superfood every day. You just get by. You got to get it to stay out of the penitentiary. You don't have no job. You don't have no friends because you blew all of them. You're 45 years old, so you start going to jail when you was 12, and people stopped coming to visit you when you was 25, so you didn't have 15 years of don't nobody want to talk to you because all you do is go back and forth to jail. Therefore, you can't come out here telling everybody, you kafirs, this is a kafir's house, that's their house, right? And you go to some places, all they talking about is who's a kafir, I say, how about old Euro? How's he? He's a pretty good guy. You know, everybody else seems to be pretty bad. Why not?